Okay, what's up everybody? It's today. And today I'll tell you that I quit smoking cigarettes. And basically by that I mean I've been smoking cigarettes for 20 plus years, a pack or more a day. And a little while back, maybe about a year ago, I picked up one of these little small pen style vaporizers there. I think it's like a 900 mAh or something like that. It probably vapes at 3.7 or whatever, like they say. Those are, that used to be pretty much kind of what you could find, unless maybe back then if you went on the internet you could have found something else too. But anyway, that never really worked too good for me. The battery would die, or something, I can't even remember. Maybe, I don't know, basically it just didn't work for me. So I ended up smoking cigarettes still, and I use that thing occasionally just so I can smoke like in bars and stuff sometimes, because they let you do that still. So anyway, been cigarette free for about a week now, and basically what I did was I ordered one of these MVPs, iTaste, and that's a 2.0. And basically I told myself, when I get the MVP, I'm just going to quit smoking and I'm just going to vape. And that's what I've been doing. Haven't smoked a cigarette since. So anyway, the main thing that I want to tell you guys about today is about the iclear 30. And basically I got the starter kit, iTaste MVP 2.0 with the iclear 30. And that cool charging cable you can charge stuff off of. The thing's freaking awesome, and I paid $40 for it. Awesome. Anyway, the main thing is I had it for 4 days, okay? And 4 days before the issue I'm going to tell you. And basically, it's for me, I'm a hardcore smoker, 20 plus years, pack a plus a day. I started out pretty much as a hardcore vapor. Once I quit smoking cigarettes altogether, and that's why I got the MVP. I knew I was going to be vaping all the time. I should have probably got some more tanks or some more coils or something like that. I just got the starter kit, and I didn't have any other kind of backup plan or anything like that. So I basically needed to clean the thing. It seemed like every day, at least once a day, and maybe I had the wattage set too high or something. But basically it just wasn't quite the same by the end of the day, so I ended up cleaning. It'd be awesome after I cleaned it. You take it apart. I'm sure you've seen the video where you take it apart, you rinse it off and all that stuff, you dry burn it a little bit, clean it off some more with some more water or whatever, and then dry burn it again, blah blah blah. So that worked for 4 days, and on the 4th day one of the coils ended up popping. When one coil popped, you're up to 4 ohms. At least I was. At 4 ohms, no vape. So I was screwed. I didn't have any other kind of backup plan, didn't have any other cartomizers, clearizers, or nothing like that. So basically, and I'm going to go ahead and give a couple shouts out to a couple people. I mean, basically, the whole, a lot of people that have helped me decide to do this and decide it was a good idea. One Pug Life, you can check him out, onepuglife.com. He quit smoking the cigarettes. And now he vapes solely, beg my pardon. Rip Trippers, I watch his videos all the time. He does all kinds of builds, and he's real funny, just like Pug's funny. He does all kinds of crazy stuff on his channel. But Rip Trippers, he does coil builds and reviews and all kinds of stuff. Also Indoor Smokers, he does lots of reviews on that channel. But basically, after that happened, I was bummed. It just so happens there's a place about 5 blocks away, so I was lucky that I didn't have to just order something online and wait, and I might have ended up going back to smoking a couple cigarettes or something. So what I did was I just went down the street and I checked to see, hey, you got any Canthol? Because basically I felt like with the stuff that I learned off of Rip's channel, thanks again Rip, that I understood enough of the concept, and obviously anyway, I felt like I had the ability to make something happen. So I went down to see if they had some Canthol rolls, and they did not. So what they did have is they had these little kits here. And I know I'm talking a long time here, and I'm not going to do a whole build video here. I'm just going to kind of point out a couple things and tell you where my falter was. Because if you're having issues, I know there's only a couple videos about rebuilding the iclear 30 with your own coils, such as Ooh, look at the smiley face. Nice mustache. Anyway, if you're having troubles, I'm going to point out, because I was, and I'm going to tell you why. So right here, I got this 28 gauge kit. It wasn't cheap. It was $9. Okay, you get 3 of these coils, and you get a length of this longer silica that you can see. You can see I got one coil shorter than the other, and then I got one coil in my rig now, and that's because I had trouble doing this. So I went through 2 of them before I realized what I was doing wrong, and I'm going to tell you what it is, because the other videos I didn't see them point out this one factor that was giving me a problem, and I'll tell you what my problem was. And I'm putting a single coil in this thing, and I'll tell you now that it turned out to be a 0.9 ohm or 0.8. It kind of fluctuates between the two, but basically the main thing is on this barrel, okay? And this is what most people would know, you know, down here on the barrel, you're gonna, and you know, I'm using a phone here, guys, so you gotta beg my pardon on the focus, but you guys know the center pin right there, okay? Wow, that's really bad. Let me see if I can do a little better than that. Okay, so you guys know when you pull that center pin out, you have one lead trapped between that center pin and that rubber insulator, okay? Then you also have a lead trapped between the insulator and the side of the barrel, okay? So what you need to know is that is not the only insulator. If you pull out the pin here and you pull out the rubber insulator that's below it, okay? After your coil's out, you look down in here through the top of the barrel, and you can almost kind of see that white down in there. That is another insulator that protects the wall. And the reason that's there is because the pin is long enough. If you don't pull this upper insulator out, when you put the pin back in, it will touch right against your other lead, and it's going to cause it to short if you don't pull the upper insulator out and put the wire behind that upper insulator. And you know, basically you have to trap the one lead between the barrel, the upper insulator, and the barrel and the lower insulator as well. Okay, otherwise, if you only trap it between this lower one, when you put your pin in, it's going to short. And that's what kept happening to me. I was getting just 0 on my ohm reader on the MVP. Not a non, like there was nothing there, but a 0, like there was a short, okay? So just make sure, and that's, I don't know if anybody else is having this problem, but when you take your coil out and all that, make sure you pull this other insulator out. And the way I did it, and it's kind of tricky, but I used the lower slots, okay? And this is a single coil. I didn't put dual coil in it. So I used a single slot in the lower one, so when you put your insulator in there from the top, because that's what you're going to want to do first, right? You're gonna put the upper insulator in, and you're gonna basically slide it down to where there's a small gap between the insulator and the bottom of the slot. Then you're gonna sneak your one lead in the little space you've left, and then that way when you slide the insulator down, it'll be between the barrel. It'll be between the barrel and that insulator. Then you slide the whole coil and the insulator down until the insulator gets all the way down to the bottom where this changes diameter. Then you put the bottom insulator in and trap that lead between that insulator and the barrel. Then it'll be fully isolated when you put this pin in. Because if you don't do that, I don't know if people are just getting lucky or what it is, but I didn't see anybody talk about the upper insulator. So that is what I did, and once I did that, bang, problem solved. And it was aggravating. I'm telling you right now, this thing was not easy to do, and maybe it's just because I am kind of new to it, but you know, there you can see in there. But I got to tell you, it was a hassle, and I was hoping just to kind of get something to get me by until I could order something new. But I got to tell you, it works good enough to where I'm going to go ahead and use these other 2 coils in here eventually when this one's done. And this one's already been in here for more than 4 days, and I don't have to clean it every day. And you know, maybe the stuff that came in, I guess, was 32 gauge possibly. I'm going to go ahead and try and show you guys here real quick, just for grins, you know. I'm not going to be able to vape it because obviously I got it apart, so I could show you guys. This real quick. Well, they're going to be a little bit of a struggle for me to do this, you guys, with just holding this camera. And let's see if I can do it with my chin. Ready? Check this out. Might be covering. Oh boy. That may have just blown your speakers out. I really apologize for that if it did. All right, look. I'm just gonna set it down real quick. Beg my pardon. Beg my pardon for 1 second. I'm screwing it on there, guys. Okay, it's on there. Okay, I'm sorry about that. All right, so I screwed it together just so I can stick this on here and show you guys real quick. Wow, this is getting bad now here. I apologize. Okay. All right, sorry about that. All right, so there's a 28 gauge coil, single coil, and you know, I want to say that I don't even know how many wraps that is. I'm not going to lie, I didn't build it, but basically on the MVP, what you end up there, that's a 0.9 ohms, and this works twice as good as it used to. Not to mention it goes twice as long without having to clean it and stuff, guys. So I mean, this isn't ultimately what I want to stick with. I want to get a rebuildable tank for it, and I plan to. But you know, maybe, you know, let me know if you guys want me to show you how to do it. I'm probably going to be putting one of these other ones on here pretty soon. And if you guys want me to actually try and tape it, I have a little tripod and an HD camera I could actually use and do it. I just kind of figured that for the most part you know how to do it, and if not, between the direction, you know, like I said, you just take this off of here, you take the barrel off of there, pull out the pin, pull out the bottom insulator, you know, coils out the top, get that top insulator out of there, and then when you put it back together, you just got to make sure you got one lead behind that top insulator when you slide it down in there, and then when you pull it down through, then you get that lead behind that bottom insulator too, and then that way when you put that pin up in there, it doesn't touch that lead because it's behind both the upper and the lower insulator, because if you don't have it behind the upper insulator, it is going to short out. Alright, so you know, basically I just thought I'd go ahead and let you guys know about that real quick. Say goodbye to the smiley face, and I'm going to keep on vaping. You should do the same. Peace.